Now that
Don't
we're
be
all
mean to the
Darksiders,
child.
Bully the baby.
can we all be Sith now?
No, I have dealt with a Sith campaign before, not doing it again.
No, I'm not being serious.
Everyone except Iffy.
I'm reflecting the roles that we're making.
You say accept Iffy.
If he's the most likely to go dark side out of
No, I'm
all of
talking
us.
about the roles for today.
Ah.
Talking about the dice pool rolls.
Oh, Iffy's a great person today, which really does make you question.
See, whenever
Iffy
I
is perfect. What are you talking about?
whenever I
big
see
fan.
whenever I see so many black dots, I think we should execute Order 66 for some reason.
There's
Please,
so
no.
not everyone has a black dot. It's order 6.6
Please, no.
today.
Con and Kane, you better start running fast.
Does anybody else feel a tingle in the back of their heads?
I get the feeling I want to murder for some
Thrill.
reason.
Something. Good soldiers follow orders.
ASMR, good soldiers follow orders.
Okay, who remembers what happened last time?
A whole lot of things.
Interrogating.
Mm-hmm. Interrogating
Of the
whom?
chef. The chef
I've been muted.
and-
Hello.
Yes,
no.
you have been, Cody.
Oh my god, I've been talking this entire time.
Oh no.
I had so many quips. No.
Turns out we
Sorry.
weren't shunning you.
I'm here. I thought I was just being ignored, so this feels better.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Of course not.
Collective shun.
Sorry, Z. Go ahead.
Nope. Who? You guys were interrogating. Whom was interrogated? What else happened?
We interrogated the chef, and we interrogated the fucking icon with two boyfriends who puzzled the shit out of Iffy.
We stand.
Is that the assistant?
Yes.
We remembered to ask for alibis this time.
Mm-hmm.
We found the murder weapon.
Mm-hmm.
If he set up a little bridge date with the lunch ladies, playing
Yup.
some poker.
Yup. Going to owe them all the gossip.
Yes, and Vialexa is manning the cameras.
I'm the cam girl. Peace sign.
And I believe that you were looking at the cameras that were in the galley cafeteria area, and you saw a couple of things there that brought in suspicion to an extent. And other clues. Does anybody remember what those were?
I sent Kane to go check that out. He's going to go look at the cafeteria table that the waiter was handling.
Yes, I do remember
And
that.
also getting me a tomato juice.
Oh yeah,
Can't forget
I also
that.
remember that.
Alright. So, since I believe last time we ended on Iffy, Kana, and Thisme, talking to Miss Cho, we'll circle back around to Kane. Kane, where you going? What you doing?
Running to the cafeteria to find the table that the busser who bussed the table that the knife was at.
You guys never could see the knife?
And on the camera?
No.
But we saw the dude who put the bus tray in the sink.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we found the knife in the bus tray.
So we're going to go talk, or you're going to go talk to the
Yeah,
bus boy.
I want to find the guy who is carrying that bucket.
There you go. So you head back to the cafeteria, and the crowd has died down just a little bit. There's still a good number of people around, but it seems like lunch hour has passed for them. And so it's a little bit easier to kind of get stock of who is and isn't in the cafeteria currently. And as you kind of scan the room, roll me perception to purple real fast.
Let's see. Well, let me tear this out before I fuck it up. 2 well, and perception. Bang bang. Successes.
Alright. So as you are kind of looking around the cafeteria, just are you in the doorway, or do you kind of step in and step to the side, or where do you place yourself?
He'll step in and kind of step off to the side so he can. He's not in the way, and he can see the room on the whole, with like the exit to his back.
So you kind of start scanning over the room, and you can see mostly the same line of cafeteria ladies behind the serving counter. Looks like there's been a couple that have been rotated off shift. You can see and kind of hear even the chef through the window into the kitchen and see movement happening back there, though you can't see exactly whom is back there right now. And as you kind of look over, you sorry, I just got a message on my phone. It's distracting. Let me turn this off. As you look over, you see, about 3 bus boys cleaners that are kind of milling around. A smaller crowd, there's not quite as much to do. And you also notice that there's a couple of the people that you kind of recognize from the bridge when you went onto the bridge with Vialexa to get access to the computer or to the cameras. That there's some bridge crew that has moved in to the cafeteria and is sitting down for a meal finally. And it takes you a minute, but you see coming out of the back galley area, the busboy in question, seemingly preparing to clock off. He's not carrying a bin anymore. He's not carrying any type of like cleaning supplies to clean any of the tables. He is just kind of skirting the edge of the room, moving with a purpose towards the exit.
Okay, so if he's moving with a purpose towards the exit, I want to move to intercept him.
Okay.
Like, just get in front of him so the exit is behind me and he is in front of me.
Alright, it's not any problem. You can do that.
Yeah, so just walk in front of him and kind of try to be like a little bit official and just kind of excuse me. Hi, I hope you don't mind if I take a minute of your time. I'm with security here, in a manner of speaking. And what does this guy look like? Is he human?
He looks like a kind of young, let me double check that this is the right race here. Looks like kind of young, Zabrak. Little, kind of darker tan skin, horns kind of sticking out of their head.
Okay. Let's see. Ooh. Okay. So I was looking to see if there is an intimidate skill and how good I would be at it. I would not be good. But I will stop him and be like, "What is your name, sir?"
And he's kind of like looks at you, brow furrowed slightly, kind of like sizing you up a little bit. He's younger, clearly younger than you, but not by much. And it's been a lean few years for you, so it's about as broad as you are, though you can tell he's not quite as muscular. And he just kind of like furrows his brow and is like, Zeke, why?
Zeke, well, it's a pleasure to meet you. I was hoping you could help me with a few questions I had about some things that transpired today. So, if you could step off to the side, kind of gesture out of the way of the exit.
And he kind of looks at the exit and looks around. And nobody around you is paying you any mind, though you can see that one of the other busboys across the room has kind of taken notice and is kind of watching. But is not moving towards or seeming to do anything, just watching. And Zeke just looks back at you and... Okay.
Just to make absolutely certain, can I, like, take a passing glance at his hands? Is he holding anything, or does he have anything, like, any markings or anything on his hand? Or hands?
He's holding a jacket in his hands. Kind of like, when you've taken a jacket off for work, and you're, like, just kind of holding it, getting ready to put it on when you leave.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I can't really make out any details about his actual little thingies.
Not really, no.
Darn it. Okay. So, let me think. I gotta remember the time frames here. It's been about 2-ish hours-ish. Since the murder, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a few hours.
Okay. So, I can't remember the exact time frame. Let me see here if I wrote it down. Okay, so I'll just be very direct with it. Be like, so did you happen to bus only this section over here, ish?
He like looks towards where you're gesturing and he shrugs a little bit. I mean, generally, if one of the other guys needed a break or there was a big crowd, we just grab where we can, but yeah, I stuck to this corner for the most part.
Good, good. Then my next question would be, did you see anybody there that looked a little off, maybe a little out of place? Maybe they were having a bad day? I'm hoping that this dude has, if it's him.
Tell me how you're trying to like come off.
Kane is trying to come off in not an intimidating way, but in a way that definitely implies he knows something. Like, I want to give the implication that, again, if I end up talking to the person who did it, I want to give the implication that I definitely know, and I'm trying to be coy about it.
Give you the choice of discipline or leadership. At 2 purple.
Could it discipline or leadership? I'm slightly better with discipline. Somehow. I will roll discipline. And you said 2 purple?
Yes.
This one. Wow. How the fuck did that happen?
That's impressive. You come off kind of as this authoritative figure to some extent. Mm-hmm. And generally that does seem to work especially considering this is a military vessel. And so this is kind of how most people are kind of programmed to respond to. And he starts kind of shifting uncomfortably. Not so much, at least to you, doesn't seem so much like in a I've been caught. It's more of like, what the fuck am I involved in? It's like, what am I being connected to? Kind of like trying to figure out. I mean, this is a hospital ship. A lot of people have a lot of bad days.
Just kind of nod my head back, of course. Kind of like, oh, yeah, fair point. Fair point. So, if you don't mind my asking, there was something strange that came to the attention. Some people who are in charge of me, and I'm looking into it. Do you happen to remember faces well?
I mean, kind of.
When you were bussing the tables, did you happen to see any type of strange utensil or knife that seems a bit out of place?
Let me roll this. And I try to do something I don't do very often yet. Going to use a dark side point.
Bullshit!
And he just kind of shakes his head slightly. Not anything that I remember. I mean, I think I ended up with the captain's mug. You think I stole it? He left it here.
Just nod and let him have his little, like, continue talking. Is there, like, any sort of, sense motive type of ability that I could roll? Because I want to get insight into whether or not he's panicking because of something he has not said yet, or if he's just nervous in general because he is feeling cornered for whatever purpose. Like, trying to get a read on trying to draw a bead on this dude's current state of mind.
You can kind of use could use streetwise to see if he gives you vibes of troublemaker. Trying to figure out if there's one that I think would go good for you or not. Other than that, it would... No, I think Streetwise would be the best one for you. You can roll that if you'd like. 2 purple.
I'll try it. Why not? Give it a little streetwise.
Damn!
Hey!
I forgot that you had that many green.
Yeah, I have a really high cunning.
So I told you the right one. I was like, I know this one's a little bit higher for you, but I didn't know it was that high. Yeah, so you look at him, and you said you're trying to see if he's like figuring out why he's panicking.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Just trying. Yeah.
he seems to you very much to give you the vibes of somebody who does not necessarily want to be here, but he doesn't seem to be like troublemaker either. You get the vibe that like the panic is more along the lines of him just trying to keep his head down and not quite knowing why he's being talked to.
Okay. So he's not really giving me much anything except just general confusion as to like why me? Why talk to me? I'm not worth talking to. Come on, man.
Yeah. He is somebody that's on a military hospital vessel that is neither medical staff nor military staff. Is in that kind of weird in between of like so low on the totem pole that people just don't fucking talk to him unless they need to.
And I forget, did he actually answer my question? About
Did you see a knife? He's like, no.
like did he okay, he didn't see any strange knife of any
No.
kind.
He's like, the weirdest thing I saw is I think I have the captain's mug.
Did you notice anyone sitting alone?
I mean, just the normal people that sit alone, I think. And, like, a handful of doctors and surgeons that just, pretty sure got out of surgery. And, you know, they always kind of look like zombies when they come out. He just, like, waves his hand in front of his face of, like, spaced out gesture.
Nod. Very well. So, didn't notice anything odd. Have you been hearing any talk of any sort of rumors about violence on the ship?
Let me roll this. He kind of seems to be giving it genuine thought and kind of shrugs. Like, I mean, there's the normal fighting that just kind of happens on a ship like this. A bunch of military people that just get too amped up, soldiers that just fucking slug each other. Emotions get high when injuries come in.
Sure.
Are you just trying to see if there's anything shady going on?
Trying to glean some information. That's all. But it seems like you don't have any. Fine. I will let you be on your way. Kane will take half a step back and then turn slightly so that he's allowing the dude to go. And just be like, thank you for answering some of my questions.
The guy, like, kind of shifts a little bit to the side, like, not sure that you're really gonna let him by, and is kind of, like, eyeing you. And he starts to walk past you and kind of pauses and looks over his shoulder at you. I don't really know what you're looking for, but if it'll keep you from talking to me again, There's a rumor about this, like, soldier guy. Like, you can talk to him and get some extra money. I don't know what it's about. I've not been on long enough to, like, really know, but apparently there's a soldier that does something. I think he's on planet, though.
There is a soldier on planet who does something in exchange for.
Well, you do something for him, but I don't
Ah.
really know what it is.
So he's looking for people to do work.
He nods. And
Kane nods.
just kind of like turns and starts hustling towards the door. And you don't like even have to like really look, and you can see the bus boy that was like keeping an eye on everything take a moment and then start hustling towards the door after him. Very much with that, like, okay, my friend's got a story to tell. Let me catch up.
Right. Then we have comms, right, of some kind.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Kane over comms was like, "Well, that was a dead end."
No, it wasn't. We got the corner he works.
Well, now who do we ask? Do we need to revisit the nurse?
Looking like we should revisit it, but the soldier guy's also got my noggin.
Give me a second to work some magic. So it was this corner, right?
Seems like it.
Okay, DM. I'm going to search the camera feed shortly after the time of the murder, and I'm going to see which people come into that corner of the table.
It'd still be too packed, but
It'll narrow it down significantly.
You kind of like start counting heads, and during that time frame between people that sit in that corner of the cafeteria and just kind of meander through that corner of the cafeteria, you're still looking at about 100 people.
Are there anybody that we've seen on our suspect list so far?
Let me see. What names we have here?
Nurse Sharia,
You
Kelly.
see the captain is in that area, kind of wanders through at some point. You see that is the corner that Kelly sits down in. Names. Lubaka goes through that area at one point.
The captain went through that area.
Lobos goes through that area at one point. The only ones that you have a face and a name for that you do not see go through that corner of the cafeteria at some point is Miss Cho and the head nurse.
Well, here's the list of the people that we've been suspecting so far. Get the information.
I can't remember if we established a motive for Miss Cho as to why, if she is a suspect, why she would want to kill Xander.
I don't think we have, no. She
You-
seemed pretty chill, though. But, anybody can murder.
To be fair,
Who
you've
was
not
Miss
really
Cho
established a
again?
motive for anybody.
Yeah.
Well, there's that fella whose brother died. We
Yeah,
established.
that's the closest thing to a
him.
motive you have, but you don't have. You have a name, but you do not have a face for them. You know his name is Genty.
Corporal Genty.
And Miss Cho is the assistant Iris. That is the one that you talked to at the end of last session.
Okay, then Cho I think is pretty clear-ish.
The one that
So
confused
we-
Iffy by being polyamorous with 2 boys.
She just doesn't get it. You could have anyone.
So, we should recheck with the nurse. Is there... Does Miss Cho have an office or, like, something that is... We need to root around in their stuff.
From what they saw, Miss Cho was essentially had a desk in a shared kind of room with a bunch of secretaries and schedulers.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's about five or six people in there that they had to pull her out of that room.
If there are 5 or 6 people in there, would they... Did we ask them if they would have noticed if she disappeared around that time?
Nope. Nobody asked that.
We did not. Did we see her on the cameras though? Wasn't her and her boyfriend's on the cameras?
Yes.
Okay.
It did look like she was coming out of, assumedly, one of the boyfriend's rooms during that time period, and then was in the cafeteria roughly during that time period. She's not, I'll say she's not like 100% clear in the time period, but she is like at least 90% clear in the time period.
Okay. Then I say for the time being, revisit the nurses, because we can get 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, we didn't
And-
really talk to the anesthesiologist, so.
She's been popping up a lot.
The anesthesiologist is
Lobaka.
Lobaka.
okay.
Yeah, she was smacking a machine quite annoyedly last time, so nobody talked to her. Because it's a Wookiee that was angry.
Good. Okay, so here that's the plan. We're going to do the nurse conversation. And I think while you all are talking, Kane is going to try to meet up with you guys on the way to the nurse's office. And his goal will be to kind of suss out some information while you all are talking and interviewing from, like, her desk.
From whose desk?
Or, like, from the nurse's station, Lobaka's desk, like, root
Okay, so
around and see if
there's
there's anything
not
there.
really any desks for the nurses.
They have
Yeah,
lockers?
we were just in a room, essentially.
Yeah,
that
they were
was
for...
essentially.
when they talked to them, they found them in a supply room prepping for surgeries.
Okay, so... I mean, anywhere they keep personal belongings.
I'm gonna make this easy for you, Joe. That's not going to be an option for them.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out ways to establish any sort of motive aside from just talking to somebody, and I'm like, okay, diaries or personal belongings or other ways to get information from someone?
The only way you'll be able to get personal belongings, aside from Phobos and potentially Miss Cho, and then of course the victim, because Phobos and the victim both had desks that have been gone through. Miss Cho has a desk, but it's in a room with a bunch of other people. The nurses, the only way you could try to get any type of personal is try to convince security or the captain, or actually probably both, to let you into their personal quarters. And then I am assuming that all of you have written the chef off of the list, because he is the only other one that would have a office that could be gone through.
He was pretty solidly there the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm just worried about the gunk.
Can't write him off as an
Well,
accomplice, though.
The gunk, there's also a aquatic fella that works underneath the Zabrak we hear a lot about, who had motive.
Yeah, there's a couple of other amphibious people on the ship. He is just the most well-known.
And on top of that, their gunk could be like collected. So
True. Yeah, I mean, could totally be a framing.
Someone who would have more access to that, I actually would think would be a nurse. But that's just my thoughts. Put some gloves on, smear a little shit around.
It makes sense. I'm starting to run dry on ideas.
Yeah, we're getting too much maybes and none certain. So
let's accuse somebody.
Let's just
accuse.
We still have the prisoner to interrogate.
Yeah, I also want to check out the prisoner. So I don't know if we want to do the prisoner and then the nurse, or if we want to do the nurse and then the prisoner.
Let's do the prisoner first, because new information. If he has it.
He claimed to have new information. All right, how are we feeling, nurses versus prisoner? Let's just take a quick vote.
Nurses. I think it's a resounding nurses.
All right, so that's 1 vote for nurses. There's so far 2 votes for prisoners. Do we have any more?
I don't have a. I'm sorry.
Go talk to the prisoner.
Darn it. Prisoner it is.
Yep. All right.
It's a resounding nurses, says the only person who voted nurses.
Yes. Listen, if you speak with confidence, people will believe you.
Strong and wrong. Strong and wrong.
Sorry, I'm peanut gallery. So.
Hey, you still got a vote here.
No, I don't. I'm vegan.
All right. Let's do prisoner then. We'll head and we'll talk to the prisoner.
Okay, prisoner it is. So you head towards the brig. And let me get this up and running again. There we go. You head towards the brig, and it is in this kind of like very cordoned off section of the ship. It is far away from the noise and the hustle and bustle, kind of in a space between the military portion of the ship and the hospital portion of the ship. There's 1 or 2 security officers walking around. As you turn a corner, you see 2 soldiers standing guard to the entrance of what is marked as the brig. And you walk up towards them, and they are both at attention. They are clearly much more senior to the pair of officers that were guarding the actual ER. and they're kind of standing at attention even without any actual, like, people in charge walking around. They're standing at attention when you rounded the corner, and they just kind of look at you and size you up. They very clearly kind of hone in on the badge that you've been given, and one of them just holds out a hand and requests it. And neither one of them seem inclined to move until they have gone over that badge and, like, messaged in and made sure that you are allowed to come through. And who all is at the brig so that I am aware?
Well,
I'll go to the brig.
Yeah, Kane was gonna meet up with y'all regardless, so he'll try to head in that direction.
Lana's with Iffy, so.
Right. So that is Kana, Thisme, Iffy, and Kane, from what I am hearing. Because Marcy is with Vilexa in the camera room. Let me read these notes real fast.
At least some part of the ship is well taken care of, at least.
Yep, at least this part.
Right. So you they message in, and you can hear them call the captain, and you can hear the captain's voice coming across their comms saying that you're allowed to come in. And they hand back your badge and turn and scan their own security clearance to open the doors behind them. And inside you can see a kind of a row of about 4 or 5 cells that are glass-walled, with reinforced glass, and a couple of in each individual cell, kind of the basics of a bed and a table and a couple chairs, and it's a little bit nicer than you would expect, but it's also, everything there looks old and is very, very simple and very, very plain, and clearly made out of very cheap material, that if one of the prisoners decides to freak out and start breaking things, it's going to end up being useless. So they've thought through the, like, okay, is he just going to smash the chair and stab somebody with it? And all except for the very last cell is empty. In the very last cell, you see a tall, middle-aged human or near human of some sort with kind of graying hair on his temples, kind of olive-colored skin, dark eyes, and he is wearing a imperial military outfit that marks him not necessarily as a frontline soldier, but some sort of officer or intelligence or communications of some sort. And he's kind of sitting at the table that is in the center of his cell. Arms kind of propped on the table, fingers interlaced in front of him. You can see a knee bouncing very hard and very fast under his table as he's just kind of staring into space. And as you come through the door and look at him, his eyes immediately snap onto you, and Iffy, I'm assuming, is the first one through the door and does not leave. Just kind of watching.
Lieutenant Seed, I take it?
And he kind of lifts his chin slightly and gives, in almost a kind of haughty manner, there's some sort of pride there that you're not quite sure where it's coming from necessarily, but he nods. Lieutenant Istris, Schneed.
I see. Well, Lieutenant. Iffy, very clearly not impressed by a man trying to be haughty with her. The name's Iffy Fell. I'm the Hapen ambassador to the Republic. I was told you had some information for us.
And he kind of looks you over, like, head to toe, and then looks at the guards behind you, who have also stepped behind the group and are, like, in the doorway. And he just kind of... There's a expression of some sort that tries to cross his face that he immediately stops and kind of keeps the haughty kind of blank expression. I do, but I think it's better something that is discussed alone. And he's kind of staring at the guards now.
Lieutenant, the last time a man asked to speak to me alone, he was dead within an hour. Not my doing! Granted.
Kane face palms.
I'm just saying, we like to play it a bit more cautiously on Hapes, and I just don't know if I want to speak to you alone quite yet. Don't suppose we could come to an understanding here?
And he just... eyes slowly move back towards you. And seems to be just as unimpressed by your story as you are of his haughtiness. And he kind of like leans forward over the table just a little bit. Like I said, I think it is better discussed alone.
If he leans forward toward the glass as well. How about no gods? Meet you there.
He kind of like glances over the rest of the party. Kana, Kane, and Thisme, how are you guys presenting yourselves right now?
Kane is just trying to hold it together at this point. He is somewhere between hiding embarrassment and looking professional.
These would probably be like twiddling her thumbs, really disinterested in the conversation.
I would be standing towards the back, just watching the interaction.
He looks over all of you and kind of lifts his chin slightly. Suppose that's a agreeable middle ground.
Happy to do some business with you to start things off. Hey, fellas, could we have a bit of privacy here?
And the guards kind of look at each other, and there's distinct discomfort. But finally, one of them nods, and they both step back through the door, and you just hear and see the door just hiss and slide closed behind you.
So, Lieutenant, you feeling comfier?
And he kind of leans back, and there's a small, distinct look of satisfaction. And he nods. And slowly gets up, and you can see as he moves that he has a distinct limp. As he stands and kind of moves around the table to then sit on the side of the table that's a little bit closer to the glass and closer to you. And despite having been picked up on a actively war-torn planet, and having, from what you have heard and from the captain and Kelly and everything, that having volunteered himself into custody during not great circumstances, his uniform seems to be almost freshly pressed still. Very clean. He seems to be taking care to not get wrinkles, to not get a mess. You can see a couple spots where there's smudges and like what you assume to be almost burnt patches from blaster fire or something else that he has tried to wash and scrub. So he is very clearly trying to present himself in this composed manner as he kind of crosses his arms across his chest and tilts his head and goes back to kind of looking you head to toe iffy. Admit you are not what I was expecting to come through.
I hear that a lot outside the consortium. It's always really weird to me. But, then again, I hear it, the consortium too. Different reasons, mind you, different reasons. You, on the other hand, you look like an imp.
Oof.
And
Kane is dying inside.
there's a little twist to his face and a little bit of a smirk, but you don't know, you can't quite place the source of the smirk, where the humor that he finds in that statement comes from. And you do get the distinct impression that while he may not be overly skilled at playing kind of the information game and the politicking game, he does have experience from how he's holding himself and responding. And he just kind of gives a small shrug. Well, we all find ourselves on different sides, different points.
It's the greatest thing in the world to be flexible about that sort of thing, but people make it hard sometimes, don't they? From what I heard, you saved one of the fellas on this ship, and then they put you in the brig for it? Am I getting that right?
And he just gives a little nod, but doesn't say anything with this very clearly like, okay, you're leading somewhere, what are you wanting to say?
I can't fathom that sort of behavior. You do somebody a favor and they lock you up for it. Somebody like you put his life on the line. I don't know, if I were you, I'd be feeling a bit sour about it. Considering the state you're keeping your uniform in, you still seem pretty proud of it, don't you?
He kind of looks down at himself, and you see, like, uncrosses an arm, and just kind of, like, fixes a sleeve, pulls it down to his wrist a little bit more. I don't look good in the prison uniform, unfortunately.
If he will actually laugh at that. Oh man, the tailoring on those things is god awful, ain't it? I've never seen anybody look good in those things, let me tell you.
You can hear Violetta over the cobs, and she's the diplomat?
I'm glad that the two of us could come to an agreement on one thing, if nothing else.
He just... There's a little huff of a laugh, and he nods.
Alright. So let's get down to business, yeah? What do you know about this situation we got going on?
His eyes finally kind of drift away from you to, like, look over everybody else. It's very calculated measuring. I might have a name. Somebody of interest to you. What are you going to do for me in return?
Well, I can't very well tell you that before I know how interested I am in this name. Could be somebody we already got on our radar. What do you got to guarantee for me that it's of interest?
A data chip.
You got it on you now?
I've given you a little bit more. Give me a little bit more.
Alright. What are you looking for? I'm guessing some sort of clemency for this whole situation?
Clemency and a trip off of this ship. I don't want to stay in orbit over this planet for God knows how long.
Spirits ain't too great over here, I'll give you that. Out of character, that probably is something, if you can arrange. It would greatly upset everyone else here, though, right?
You could also just lie.
Yes, I
But
could also
out
just lie.
Out of character, that is something that you could pull a couple of strings and probably get sorted within the next, 3 or 4 days.
Alright. Well, I might be persuaded based on how good this information is. I could put in a good word for you here and there, get you some transport. But that all depends on this information checking out. And if it don't, I got no reason to help now, do I?
He kind of gives a little nod. Suppose not, but I will need some way of guaranteeing you'll actually do this for me.
That hot a commodity you've got, is it, huh?
And there's a very kind of self-satisfied smile that spreads across his face. But he doesn't say anything.
Now, tell me, how's a fella like you come into information like that? How's a fella like you learn to negotiate about these matters? From what I've dealt with Imperials before, very many of you are very good at negotiating.
Well, there's a reason that I've survived this long in the Empire. The ones that aren't are the ones that die.
It's that flexibility I mentioned, ain't it?
You could say that.
You know, I'm starting to see something in you. All right, Lieutenant. Here's the deal. You tell us what you've got, and I'll see whether or not I can get you off this ship. I probably can, but based on how good the information is, maybe you'll get off sooner rather than later.
He kind of pushes off the table, paces the couple of feet back and forth in front of the glass for a minute, seeming to consider, though you're not fully sure if he's really considering or if he's putting on a show of considering.
If he will, in response to this, look at her own nails. Of course, I do have my own slices on the job, so it's really a matter of time.
What is your cool, Iffy?
Let's see. What is if he's cool? That is a good question. Crack open the sheet here. I've got yellow, 3 green.
Okay. Let us see what this is. Do I want to do this one?
I don't like the sound of that.
Feeling bold tonight. I'm going to use another dark side.
Players. Exactly. I was right. Felt cute. Might fuck with my players. Z. How are they supposed to solve this mystery if you keep using dark side points?
Honestly, true.
No, I think we'll
Already
get it.
stupid.
I mean, we'll just use somebody.
We'll get it. We'll get it.
We'll use somebody.
We get closer every day.
You've gotten a couple of things. You're probably 1 or 2 good, solid clues away from getting half of the mystery solved.
It'll take another 3 sessions till we'll get it.
What do you mean the topic of this name?
The name that he supposedly has for us.
Oh, okay.
When he's focused on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
He looks back towards you as you like, I have my own slicers on this. And he turns and kind of leans a little bit closer to the glass. To where he's only a few inches away as he's kind of like staring you down. And he's pretty tall. He's near about looking you eye to eye. And there's just this, like, very much you feel him reading you. And there's just a little smirk. If they were close, you wouldn't be here. Would you?
You motherfucker. I'm here, if he says, leaning in, to keep all my options open. Flexibility, Lieutenant. Weren't we just talking about that?
Me and Iris are going to be away for like 15-20 minutes.
Okay. And he kind of lifts his chin a little bit and straightens up. Have the name. Soldier on this ship that is responsible for smuggling organs. Organs which Empire has been more than happy to buy.
If he narrows her eyes, also leans away from the glass. He's still trying to keep up a bit of a nonchalant air as she sort of, paces back and forth in front of the glass. Wow. Organ sales. I heard that there was a bit of that going on over here. Grisly business, isn't it? But I suppose a hospital ship's a good place to be.
He nods a little bit. Let's just say that there's more than a few in command on the Imperial side that are rather pleased by the concept of killing your soldiers and then being able to use them to keep ours going.
Well, it's just good business sense, ain't it? You know, if my mother could grow a clone of herself and give her all the money, use her organs as replacements, she'd do it in a heartbeat.
Is pulling his hair out.
If he's not wrong.
That it just like Kane is just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Kane on Heaps is going to be so much fun.
He's going to die.
So, who's a gal gotta hit up around a place like this to get herself a new kidney?
And he just kind of considers you for a moment. I'll give you the name. You check into it. And when you come back, knowing that I'm right, give you the data chip. As long as you have a guaranteed way for me off this ship. Deal?
Out of character. Can I sell you on a non-traditional use of negotiation?
You can try.
To evaluate the terms of this deal.
Wait, are you trying to alter the deal?
That's a talent that I don't have. But one day I would love to have.
As in seeing if he is being, like, forthright with what he is negotiating with?
But I guess my initial thought was, is there an advantage here that I, as a player, am not seeing and could press better?
You can try to roll that. Negotiation would be 3 purple.
Does this count as a government official?
Technically.
All right. What was the difficulty you said?
3.
3. Okay, so difficulty of 1. Negotiation is, I think, 2 yellows. Yeah. So 2 yellows, 2 greens. 4 successes.
Ooh.
You do have the... He seems to be pretty forthright with what he is saying.
Mm-hmm.
He has pushed what he can try to push. However, you are also aware that if he has some sort of data chip that he is hiding, that the guards and the captain are not aware of, you could, in theory, also just have them come in and do a much more thorough search of him and his stuff. As he is not supposed to have it. That's why he's really supposed to be, fully searched, none of his personal items, none of his personal, clothing or anything like that. So... And you gather that's part of the reason why he wanted the guards out of the room?
That makes sense.
And additionally, he is asking a lot from you because he is technically a military prisoner at the moment. He would be turned over to a Republic governmental official or government ship at some point. But while he is still considered under military custody, it is a lot that he is asking from you at the moment.
All right. So, Lieutenant, let's quit the pussyfooting around here. Now, if you've really got this data chip here, that means that you've managed to hide it from everybody. I'm guessing that has something to do with why you're still in that uniform. Look, I'll say it. I'm a big enough woman to admit it. You've impressed me a little bit here. I think it's always worthwhile to have flexible friends, don't you?
There's a very distinct narrowing of his eyes. He doesn't say anything.
So, seeing as all it would take from me is a word to have you searched, that data chip seized, I'd end up with it anyway. I need a reason not to just do that. So, how's about this little alteration? We're just gonna switch it up a little bit. I'll take that name. I'll go do my investigating. If I come back and it turns out the information's good, how's about you're gonna owe me a favor? Future. Personal favor.
There's a very quick look of annoyance that he manages to squash. And he crosses his arms slowly and seems to try and like puff up just a little bit. I suppose that is something we could agree on. And everything about his words and his tones indicates that he is not happy.
Now, we will need a bit of collateral to make sure you don't flex in a different way on me when I call on you. But we can discuss that when I come back, huh?
I twitch. That's about all you get.
All right, Lieutenant. Let's hear that name.
Yeah, double checking that I'm going to use the right name here. And
Well done, but also Kane is going to shit diamonds.
He kind of seems to like almost chew on his words for a second. He does not want to like give it up now that you are trying to alter the deal more. But he finally lets out Corporal Dulovich. Genty Dulovich.
That motherfucker. If he will glance over to Kana for confirmation here.
And I believe she is AFK right now.
All right, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
We're just going to move ahead, assuming he's on the up and up. Then. Ah, that fella. Yeah, I had a feeling. All right, we'll look into this a bit more. You just hang tight, Lieutenant. It's been a pleasure doing business with you.
And he just kind of gives a single curt nod and turns in as much of a dismissive way as he can manage while being in a cell. It's like, okay, I'm done having this conversation with you. Trying to hang on to what shred of power and dignity that he can manage.
I want to use a light side point to be petty, but I won't. Alright. I will also bid him adieu, and we can head out from there.
And we'll take a quick little break here to give Iris and Piper a chance to finish up what they're doing and come back.
Alright. I will also go make myself some snackies.
Oh my god, no way.
Were you muted this whole time again?
No, Z,
What? What?
do you have a Spotify playlist called Chaos in Deep Space?
Possibly? I don't know.
One of my friends just shared a playlist and it's Im Dayless.
Oh my god.
Is that
No.
you?
Oh no.
People are not. I know. People are not supposed to find my playlist.
Oh, this is
Uh
so cool.
oh.
Wait, what happened? What did I miss?
Everyone's pointing and laughing at Z for liking music.
Oh,
Nothing.
he's still Casey.
Oh my gosh. That's
I
so... Oh, they knew? How did they know?
I have altered the deal. Pray I have not altered it further. Time to make a
I
fucking.
think I have one somewhere.
Oh! They got it because remember when we were gonna do the GURPS space?
Mm-hmm.
I think that you shared that in that server.
Oh.
I was like, whoa, this is a crazy coincidence.
Hmm. See?
Yes. What?
Are you there?
I am here. I've said yes. And what? My microphone's just not picking up. What?
Uh, out of curiosity, are they on the right track?
for a friend.
There
I'm
are
asking for a friend here.
there are 3 separate mysteries that are going on right now.
Okay.
They are on the right track for one.
For one of them. Okay.
They are kind of interconnected with each other. But there is
You
the
hear that?
the
We're getting-
the organ one, there is the Bacta one, and then there is the who killed the doctor one.
Who done it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright. Oops. I'll be back. Good luck with your investigation. I believe in you all.
Thank you.
Hello?
Hello.
I'm back. What happened? Anything good?
We're on break
No.
right now, so you can
Okay.
take a minute to breathe. If he altered the deal that was being made with this Imperial soldier and he gave a name and says that he will give proof to the name once she has officially gotten him passage off of this ship. And the name was Jinty Dulovich.
That was the guy that Kane spoke to, yeah?
No.
No? I know the name Genty's come up.
Yes, it's the name that was given to Kane when he was talking to the busboy.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back. So how did Iffy alter the deal?
She asked for a personal favor.
Huh. With no specifications on that? Just I owe
You gotta keep the favors open.
Okay.
Yeah, he is providing the name, and once the name checks out, he says he'll, if she comes back with a way off the ship, he'll give proof. And her alteration was, I'll do that for you, but you also owe me a favor in the future.
How high is Corporal in ranking? It's not that high, right?
Not super, no.
No.
Yeah.
So I heard a Joe, I heard an Iris. I'm assuming if Iris's bagpiper is back.
Hi.
Is Kira back?
Yeah.
Inbian, I see Inbian talking.
Yeah.
Cody?
I'm here.
Okay. So we shall jump back into it then. Oh, you've gotten the name from Schneed. You all step back out of the brig. The guards just kind of look at you questioningly, but neither one of them like asks because they figure if you're going to talk to them, you'll talk to them. And you guys can proceed as you would like.
Could I have tried to get more information out of it?
Yeah, you can roll a 4 staff on me.
Thank you. Thumbs up.
And you're using like the thought one.
Yeah.
He seems to be upfront about that name. He doesn't have any doubts that he's telling you a name that is useful. You get a lot of annoyance and anger about Iffy. the very distinct impression and thoughts of like this bitch.
Could I don't know if you can answer this or not, but could I get some insight on how he has prayed?
You do get the impression that he is also being honest about the data chip. He has a data chip of some sort.
Okay. Okay. I'll take that. And once we're out, I'll relay that to B party.
Eventually you hear Violex over the comms. So I'm just gonna throw in a name to the hat. Captain's kind of sus.
The captain?
Well, yeah. One, he was present at about the place where we suspect that the knife was delivered onto the thing. Second, he's a captain, so he would obviously know about the error of the camera flickering out, right? Not many people would know about that. Only techies and upper ups would even have a chance to notice that. And two, and three, there's no way the fucking captain doesn't know about a fucking organ smuggling fuck shit.
Yeah, you do have a point. Knowing the way those rings work, he's probably taking a cut for himself. We can't go.
I also don't like how he's been running things. having so many things just slip under there.
Well, I mean, that's just normal. You gotta deal with that again. But yeah, he's sus.
If we're taking aim at him, we'd better not be missing though.
Oh yeah, no, he's not for sure, but it is a possibility.
Especially if this corporal fella's involved. I'm sure a man like the captain wouldn't want to do all his dirty work on his own.
Why would you have to? Just accuse him of a crime and get him shipped out.
Huh. Let's see if we can establish where this Genty fella was.
You got it. And by you got it, I mean you got it. I'm still here. Okay, where's my tomato juice?
Oh, pinches a bit of his nose.
You promised a lady
Here.
tomato juice. You should go get her tomato juice.
This
I'll
is
take it to her.
so-
Connor puts out her hand for the tomato juice that she assumes he has.
He doesn't, and he's like, "No, no, this is my burden to bear. So I'm gonna go get that tomato juice and go to her."
Ain't there some kind of law about Jedi keeping their word or something? Don't you guys do that?
He opens his mouth and then just closes his mouth. Just starts walking towards the mess hall.
I guess he kept the word in his mouth.
Sorry,
Give in to
not
the dark
sorry.
side. Gonna give in to the dark side.
You know, I gotta
Don't
say,
you fucking dare.
there's nothing like upsetting a man to cheer you up.
Yeah, it comes over. We might get along after all.
You should have heard that guy's thoughts, the corporal's thoughts then.
Oh, tell me more.
I don't think I like those words to grace my lips.
That bad?
Oh.
Well, then again, Bubblegum would say shit and then immediately pray to whatever gods the Jedi would forgiveness. So
But you know, that's a
Do you even consider what you're saying?
no, why would I?
That's really not surprising.
no. She's got a point though. Do you guys have gods?
Is the Force a god?
You know, I could explain this all to you, but there are these things called libraries. I'm sure you could get plenty of information there.
Talking as if you've read a book.
If he scoffs. All the learning I had to do on the go.
If you had access to the cameras, Kana would be glaring at the cameras.
One tomato juice, please. Go.
We broke him.
Very confused and concerned lunch lady going and fishing out a thing of tomato juice. It's like, why is this one that was with the other ones back again, and why is he pissed off? And you,
Fucking juice, woman.
as soon as you get the tomato juice, you immediately hear just like the tittering of all of the lunch ladies as you turn around and leave. Gossip
Wait,
starting.
Are there croutons in it? Like marshmallows and hot chocolate?
You're getting a can of V8, bitch.
Oh,
Sure,
V8's perfect.
sure.
V8 is
He's
perfect.
he's not going to take any longer than he precisely has to. And he's going to get the fucking tomato juice and then just like, okay, I'm leaving. Time to go.
Thanks, dear. Have fun.
No, don't call me dear. Stop it.
Oh, did I make your heart race a little?
No. Ow. Stop it.
You can hear that over the comms.
I can
Worried
see.
that Bubblegum will get jealous.
I can see the brain cells fading into the distance. I shall wave to them in fondness.
A fond farewell.
Okay. Go have fun playing detective. I'll be here on the cams.
Where have Iffy and Kana and the rest of them gone while Kane is on his tomato juice quest?
That's a good question. So do we want to check in with this Genty guy, or do we want to check in with the nurses?
Follow the lead.
It has
we
been
have-
implied that Genty is on planet.
Hmm.
So nurses and then Frog World.
We could also hit up a Genty subordinate, the aquatic skin fella.
You could also try and just get his release signed and just get that lead.
Well, also, if he probably has a room on the ship.
Hmm.
And if he's not here,
You know, that's a really good idea. Let's try and find Genty's room and search it.
Okay. You will have to go to either the captain or Kelly, Sergeant Kelly, to find the room number 1 and get permission.
Would
For
we
the
be
room.
able to... Would Vialexa be able to hack that, though? Like, could she get into some kind of directory?
Good question.
She can try, however, I will give the warning of if you start digging through some of that stuff, just like if she went digging through like the medical records and gets caught and flagged, there'll be some other tensions that will start to arise and troubles that will start to come.
What do you think, Piper? You want to take that risk?
HIPAA violation.
I've never met a hippo I
I
didn't violate.
I could take the risk. What would the difficulty be?
Since you are trying to hack into the military records, it is... Yes, Iris?
let's just say we have good relations already.
We do.
Yeah, because that was the understanding that was kind of given to you guys of, like, you have general run of the ship. If you need things specific, you'll come to us.
We can just ask for it, yeah.
Alright.
But if you want to hack, you can hack. It's just, it would be pretty hard sitting there right around 4 because it's a military hack.
That is pretty rough. Alright, we'll ask them. We will ask Kelly if he knows where Genty's room is.
Okay. So you head back up towards the bridge to go find Sergeant Kelly. And he seems to be running messages back and forth and trying to manage the security personnel for the ship. And you catch him in the hallway, sending a couple of security off to do something you don't quite catch. And he turns towards all of you as you approach and just kind of arches a brow. So, investigation going good?
Yeah, feels like we're starting to make some real headway here.
Totally.
But, speaking of that, we wanted to take a look around one of the rooms in the military area of the ship.
The barracks, can I ask what you're expecting to find there?
We got reason to believe one of those fellas might be a little bit tangled up in this. We're just looking to, clear him of any possible suspicion.
There's a frown now as he's considering one of the soldiers being involved. He just kind of takes a deep breath and slowly nods. Any soldier in particular you're looking at?
We're looking for, if he will look around and then stage lower her voice. Corporal Genty?
And he seems to kind of pause in that, like, you can tell he's going through, like, the mental filing cabinet. And just kind of a jerky, slight nod. Yeah, Genty. Sure. I will show you to his room. I will have to warn you, of course, this is... You can't take anything from his room.
Oh, believe me, I don't want to take anything from that room.
And here's just a kind of like looking over the rest of the group and making sure everybody else seems to agree. And then a little nod.
Would it be okay if we took pictures of any evidence we find? If, of course.
He gives another little nod. That's, yes, of course. I mean, if you find evidence, you can just give it to me and I'll handle it. Just, you're not technically security, not technically police, so... protocols. You understand.
Sergeant, let me just ask you a question. This might be a little bit personal, but what got you into this job anyway?
Family.
Oh, a family business? Your father a sergeant too? Maybe a general?
Kind of like little shrug. Not general, but captain on one of the smaller vessels, yes.
Huh. So, what do you feel about the whole position? When you come to work every day, are you happy?
Why?
There's just like furrowed brow, head tilt. I mean, we're helping, so I suppose I'm as happy as I could be. Ship is important to the Republic. What'd you say, Piper?
My sincerest apologies.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Sergeant. Now, just a quick aside. Have you heard anything about this Genty fella? We've heard a fair bit about him on the way here. Obviously, we wouldn't be talking to you otherwise. But I was just curious, you know, a fella like you grew up around all these soldier types, probably. You know the good ones from the bad ones at a glance, don't you?
Just kind of rubbing the back of his neck, a little like not sure where some of this is going. I mean, he's liked by those under him and those he works with for the most part. A little high-strung at times, but just about anybody's going to be.
So no write-ups for nothing. No fights. Nothing like that.
He did get demoted about a month back for punching another officer, but considering everything that has been going on, it's kind of expected.
If he will laugh and then quickly stifle her laugh. So you're saying he does have a couple tendencies here and there, but it's surprising to me that you'd keep somebody on after a situation like that. I mean, I know you guys are busy, but shouldn't there be a bit more stringency with regards to that sort of thing? I mean, I don't know about you. I've never spent a day on a battlefield in my life, but I don't necessarily want a fella who'd deck me, serving with me when the blast is firing.
And there's this kind of like an expression that's a little hard to read. And he just shakes his head. You're clearly not keeping up with the war very much. We need just about everybody that we can get. As long as he's doing his job. And he's not running around killing anybody that he's not supposed to kill. Oh, he'll stay on until he gets demoted all the way down if he is getting demoted.
You know, Sergeant, you're right. I don't know much about the war. Doesn't really touch us very much in the consortium, you know? I feel like I'm learning a lot about it lately, though. So, thank you for taking the time to explain to a sheltered gal like me. Say, that fella he decked, what was his name, anyway?
I'm gonna be real with you, I don't have a name for him.
Johnny. Johnny Four Fingers.
Kelly opens
that
his
means
mouth.
It's not important. Okay.
Static comes out.
There's so many names that you guys have gotten at this point that are unimportant. I'm gonna stop giving you more names.
God, why'd you give us unimportant names? We're very
Honestly,
dumb.
appreciate that.
That is very fair. That is very fair. In that case, if you will just thank this fellow.
You guys need to stop increasing your suspect list.
But if he just loves small talk and gossip so much.
Kelly just kind of gives a small nod, a little kind of seemingly put off by the like whole sheltered girl thing. Very clearly sniffing that out as bullshit. But just kind of giving you this look. And I'm going to see how bold Kelly is here.
How bold are you feeling, Kelly?
And as he's turning to kind of lead you guys down the halls and towards the barracks, there's a kind of a beat of silence before he looks in your direction, still walking. I hope you'll forgive me, ma'am, but if I can offer a bit of unsolicited advice to someone in your position.
Oh, here we go.
I'm listening.
He kind of seems to pause and consider if he really wants to say what he's about to say. And then looks back towards you. I admit I don't know how exactly the politics and the politicking works. But if you're out here actually trying to do things, trying to be useful in this war, and make a difference, with all due respect, might benefit you to pay a little bit more attention to the soldiers at times, to what it's actually like on the ground.
There's a pause, and if he doesn't react right away, but eventually she sort of raises her brows and nods and waves, as if she's making a concession. I gotta say, you do have a point. I don't know too many soldiers. And Kelly, I do respect you for speaking up.
And there's a slight nod. I do apologize, it's out of place a little bit, but figure sometimes people of your influence need to hear the thoughts of those on the other side.
You're perfectly right about that. Back home, anybody who has a scar, we basically send them off to a little area of town and nobody ever sees them again. Even if it's the smallest thing. Like, an acne scar will still get you exiled like this. We're very big on natural beauty, you understand. But me, I never spent much time at home. I got used to seeing people of all different stripes. It's never a surprise for me to see somebody who's torn up like that. You do my old line of business long enough, you see a whole lot of those folk. But I'm starting to realize that maybe this war is like me seeing a scar for the first time.
And he nods a little bit. I suppose that makes sense. And there seems to be a thought of, like, continuing the conversation, but thinking better of it, of kind of like, okay, I've stuck my neck out a little bit too long, a little bit too far. And just another, like, really kind of curt nod, about face, continuing on his way, leading you guys towards the barracks. And, doesn't take too long as you guys are kind of entering into the barracks area. And there's a lot of soldiers here that are just kind of milling about. Very clearly they're off duty, some in like half uniform, half out of uniform, some in just what you would assume is leisure clothes. None of them, like a couple of them kind of snap to attention as Kelly walks by with all of you. All of them were watching you go by, and you kind of hear the murmurs. Like, okay, what are these people doing here? Why are they going? Who are they about to go see? And you do see occasionally down a hallway, around a corner, somebody dart off, and you hear the scuffling of, like, superior officer is coming. Get your shit together before they come down the hallway. And a few twists and turns later, comes up to a door that is marked with 2 identification numbers for 2 different soldiers. And there's Kelly pauses and knocks once, knocks twice, and then opens the door. And nobody is inside, but you do see a room that is split evenly, bed on either side, is very small. Barely enough for the beds and what looks like a shared desk of some sort between them. And then a closet on either side. There is not even a bathroom here, it is a shared bathroom down the hall. And Kelly kind of steps back and steps out of the way and just motions for you guys to go in if you would like. It is kept military pristine in the room.
I will nod in thanks to Kelly and then head into the room with the others. Start looking around.
Okay. Snoop time.
Mm.
Right?
Y'all.
Oh, thank God.
You see how?
Who is his room? His bunkmate, if I may ask? I'm just asking if it's anyone we know.
No.
Clear. Okay.
No, it's not anybody that you need to worry about.
Okay. Just making sure.
But yeah, you can go in and depending on you can either roll perception or skullduggery if you're looking for hidden things.
Skullduggery sounds like a plan.
Yeah, we can
And
all
it
roll
would
this.
be anybody that's in the room that is wanting to go snooping can roll. And it is a 3 purple roll.
Not a force roll. Duh.
Three purple.
Okay.
Skulldug.
And what was that specifically iffy for you?
Holy
Skulldug.
shit.
God. Holy
Oh.
shit.
Skullduggery.
What the fuck is that, Tuesday?
I don't know.
God damn.
Shit.
The most perceptive person on the fucking team. Okay. Cancelled out for Kana. Thieves may have found some shit. Kane will notice some things. And you said it was skullduggery for iffy, correct?
Yes.
Skullduggery for iffy. Okay. So you all go kind of start poking around the room. And again, it is kept pretty pristine. The bed is been made and pressed before they left both sides of the room. There's not a whole bunch of loose things or extra things stacked on top of the desk, though. Either side of the desk there's sets of drawers and like a little filing cabinet drawer in one of them. And you can see the drawers underneath both of the beds and the closet that you swing open, and there's a couple boxes in there. As you go digging, see, what can I have you guys find specifically with these rolls? Alright. These you pretty quickly find a data pad that is, when you kind of turn it on and look at it, it has Jinty's name. So you are confident that that is his. It is locked at the moment. However, you also are pretty confident that your partner would be able to make quick work out of a simple data pad. You also, in looking through things, you find that kind of on the side of the table towards what you're assuming to be Jinty's bed, since that is the bed that you found the data pad near, are a bunch of different kind of brochures and paraphernalia in a neat little stack about worlds in the Outer Rim on the side of the galaxy that you know to be kind of removed from the war at the current time, of some kind of quote-unquote vacation worlds, casino asteroids, things that would get you away from the fighting, away from both the Republic and the Empire at this time, as the Republic has kind of drawn back to focus on fighting. Couple of them that you've probably even been to once or twice, either on work or in passing. You also see, and I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, so don't ask me right now. One of the casino brochures is the casino that was mentioned to Iffy as the other place, one of the other places that you could be going before you decide to go meet with Xander. And you also see a calendar on the wall beside the bed that seems to be counting down days until break. Genty looks like he is due to rotate out for about a month here in about a week and a half. So he is not meant to be on the ship for much longer, at least for a little while. He's going on vacation. Iffy, as you start poking around, you don't see anything interesting in the bed, or on the bed, or even in the drawers underneath. You go digging through the drawers in the table, and you see some, like, official paperwork for Genty, but nothing that catches your eye as being particularly useful or important or even off. However, you do find a personal kind of almost a lockbox for pictures and mementos and things like that. And as you open it, you can see a picture of what looks like what you're assuming to be Genty and Genty's brother. They look very, very similar to each other. And there's a couple other little bits and bobs in there. But as you close the lid to this box, you pause and kind of tilt the box one way and then the other. And you open it again and you realize that the interior is smaller than, like, the dimensions of the box. And so you go poking around on the bottom and manage to find a false bottom on the box. And very carefully open it up. And all that you see there is tracking and routing information and account numbers for some sort of account on a piece of paper. Kane, you kind of zero in on the closet and start kind of going through the personal items there. And it looks just kind of standard soldier uniforms and a couple of extra pieces of armor and workout clothes and pajamas and just nothing of particular interest to you at first. And then you pause and go back and look at a tank top that is kind of tossed into a laundry hamper and pull it up again and look at it. And it is a mark that you very vaguely recognize as having seen it before. You're not quite sure if it is a location or a group, but you remember seeing it when your master was taking you through a smuggling asteroid at one point. That's the only place
Oh.
you've ever seen it. But you can't exactly where, if it was on a shirt or if it was on a sign or what. You just remember that you saw it in that time span.
So it's a symbol on a shirt
Yes.
that I remember seeing related to some like smuggler not outpost, but like
Essentially
what's the word?
outpost.
Okay.
A asteroid that is officially a like fueling depot, but is for all intents and purposes more of a smuggler hold at this point, that people only go there for fuel if they're desperate or if they know somebody.
Okay. I will immediately go over to Iffy and put a hand on Iffy's shoulder and turn Iffy to look at that thing. Point at it with one index finger from her shoulder and say, "Do you recognize that symbol?"
And if you'd like to try and recognize it iffy, it'll be an underworld knowledge at 2 purple.
All right, I'll give it a roll. Which, surprisingly, I remembered to put a rank in. I think it was Streetwise. I did not put a rank in Underworld.
Oh, no.
Shit.
I should have it, shouldn't I?
Well, we know one of the ranks that you're going to be buying here shortly.
Yes. Gotta do that. You said 2 purple or 3?
2.
Okay.
It's not meant to be super hard for you.
Yes. All right. I'm gonna use the light side then, if we're all okay with that.
Yes.
Yeah. Use the light side. I will upgrade. Z, will you upgrade?
I've been mean to y'all this session.
All right. So I'll throw in a yellow. Damn it, yellow!
Whoa.
It's the green that's not pulling its weight there.
Yeah, you look at it, and I mean, it's a interesting symbol. You're not quite sure what Kane is trying to like point you towards with it.
If he frowns, you're taking an interest in graphic design?
What? No, that's a.
Do you want me to get you one?
No, I don't want to. That's.
I mean,
not
I think it
even-
would look nice on you.
That is a smuggler, some kind of smuggling group iconography.
Oh. Huh. Hey, can we get a photo with that?
Probably. If I can just, I don't have a camera.
Don't you guys have phones?
We do have data pads.
Well,
Looking
speaking
at...
of, someone should look at this data pad.
Oh, you got a data pad?
Yeah, I think it belonged to what's his name?
This fella just left that lying around. If he will look it over and then raise her eyes in surprise. Yeah, good going, good going. I'm sure there's gonna be a ton on that. Wait a second. Hey, Kelly.
Kelly just kind of like has been kind of leaning in the doorway, watching all of you, just kind of like supervising. And he just kind of like looks towards you, arms crossed over his chest. Yes.
How long's this fella been off planet? Been on planet, rather.
Shipped down today, I think. Have to check the assignments to know exactly when, but today.
Huh. Would he have happened to have? I guess you wouldn't know right now. We'll need to check those assignments.
Mm. He nods, and you can see him start to, like, step away a little bit, see what's going on in the room, to talk on the comms to somebody.
I will gather the others close and show them the piece of paper that I found with all the writing on it.
We're taking a lot of pictures today, aren't we?
Sure are. Do we had dates for when the cameras were shut off, right?
Yes.
Are there dates on this paper, or is it just
No.
Okay. Curse your lack of detailed stewardship.
What about the calendar?
Oh
Is there
yeah, let's
anything else on the calendar besides the vacation time?
You look at it, and there doesn't really seem to be anything more. You can see a couple of, like, times of, like, what you're assuming to be training or meetings or things like that. It seems to be more schedule than anything else. Like a standard soldier schedule.
I know this might be a stupid question, but is there like a schedule on timing on when he's in and out kind of thing? Like
Beyond,
shift wise, I guess.
not really, not beyond, just like, I have to be there for, like, muster at this time on this day.
Okay. But we could potentially get that from Kelly and the higher ups, some like a schedule akin to that at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they would have much more. You would be aware enough in your time around soldiers and amongst soldiers through the war that, like, especially on a ship like this, which is closer to the front lines, where exactly you are on any given day is up to the day itself. So it's not something that is generally you can put down onto a schedule easily, except for big things like being rotated out for a bit. And even those are not always guaranteed.
Kelly, would we be able to take this, pointing towards the data pad, to our slicer? That is the term, correct?
Yes.
For
Kelly
hackers.
kind of seems uncomfortable for the moment, but there's a slow nod. So long as it's supervised the entire time, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I mean, she is in the bridge with basically everyone. Like,
She's in a separate meeting room, but yes, she's closer to the bridge.
yeah. Well, that seems fine. I mean, any information we get will be given to you anyways.
And he nods and kind of, like, gestures for you guys to give him the data pad.
I mean, Diesme has it, so.
Give it.
Oh,
Sure.
give it to Iffy.
If he takes the data pad and Gives it to Kelly.
Honestly, that's on brand of just like, I give it to my boss. I don't want to step on anyone's toes. I don't want to cross any lines.
Yeah, so he takes the data pad, just kind of like tucks it under an arm. Very much is like starting to get uncomfortable with what you guys are doing, but just waiting. You guys done?
Yeah, I think we got the information we needed. Yeah, we took pictures of the stuff. The evidence we found. Quote, unquote.
Should we also look into the room while we're here of the aquatic fella who works for Genti? A Moncal, looks like.
You can if you would like. I will be real with you. There's something you can find there, but I don't know that's going to help you.
Alright. Do we want to take that risk, guys, or do we want to head to...
Give me the MacGuffin.
Yeah, let's take the data pad to Vialexa.
So you guys leave the room, and Kelly makes sure that the door is closed behind, and starts leading you all back through the barracks and back up towards the bridge. And the number of heads you see disappear into rooms and doors close quickly as you guys turn corners and go down the hallways is frankly impressive. Of both you have absolutely no doubt that rumor and word is spreading through the soldiers, but also the soldiers' ability to avoid being seen when they think they're about to possibly get in trouble for eavesdropping. Frankly impressive. But you guys head back towards the bridge, and he leads you towards the meeting room where Vilexa and Marcy have been stationed with the cameras and the computers. And kind of, and as he enters the room and kind of steps aside for all of you to like move past and go where you want to stand or sit or whatever, he gives Vilexa and Marcy a little nod and slowly like moves the data pad from where it's tucked under his arm, holds it up in the air, considers it for a moment, and it's very much like, I'm not sure I'm supposed to do this. It just kind of looks between the two of you. Which one of you am I supposed to give this to?
Alexa makes grabby hands. Yep.
What you're doing.
And he just kind of like stares at you and looks at the grabby hands, looks back at your face for a minute. I do hope you realize that if you are found to be planting anything, it won't be good.
Please, sweetie, if I wanted to plant something, you would have no idea. Now get.
And that just like brow furrow looks towards Iffy.
Don't worry.
Look, I'm just
It'll
telling
be
the
all right.
truth. I'm not gonna plant anything. If I did, you would never know.
If she did plant anything, she wouldn't be getting paid.
Well, one, you're not the boss of me. Two, I wouldn't listen to you even if you were. And three, shut the fuck up. Gib.
But you're not wrong.
Do you have anybody else that can do this? I'm becoming more and more concerned.
Listen, I do my job. Is this because I'm pretty? Are you saying that pretty girls can't hack? I will have a word with your captain.
She's gonna have a BF.
Look, Vialexa may be a little blunt sometimes, but she's got the goods. You can trust it.
I got all the goods.
I have to roll because you're setting off far too many alarm bells for him.
I'm not even making alarm bells. What the fuck?
Of if I wanted to plant something you wouldn't know to somebody who does not want to give it to you in the first place.
But I also said I wasn't going to.
The fact that you made the statement in the first place is concerning.
Like, if I wanted to do this, you'd never know it. Okay.
Yeah. Like,
But luckily
hey.
for you, I don't want to do it. Do you believe me? No.
Hey, I made you dinner, but if I wanted to poison you, I totally could, and you'd never know. But anyway, here, eat up.
I mean, I'd still eat the food. Let's be honest. Yeah, see? So do you want me to roll?
I'm making a roll. I am going to make it contested with one of your stats. You're, I'm assuming, trying to be kind of charming. What is your charm?
A yellow, 2 greens, and an advantage. I get an advantage to all charm checks.
Okay. Yellow and 2 greens. The man does not have great in this. Just to double check. Why did you close? One success, one threat. So he kind of looks back towards Iffy and then towards Kana because she spoke up and slowly puts the data pad on the table and looks directly at you, Vialexa. I am really hoping this is just bravado from you. And slowly pushes it over towards you. But as you take it, immediately moves behind you so that he is essentially hovering over your shoulder and watching everything that you are doing.
Okay. Didn't care. What do you want me to roll?
It is a computer. This is.
I can remove a black die on breaking codes. Break code or decrypt.
This is not a code or communication. This is trying to get into the system.
Black?
Yes.
Did we get another force
And
point? I might use it here.
I believe Marcy was trying to help, if I remember what Ambien said.
Yeah, I'll give you a blue.
Okay.
I'm gonna use the light side to upgrade it.
Oh no.
Well, that's a lot of pretty negatives. Gotta roll
Oh my
your positives.
That's a fucking
Oh,
despair.
It didn't.
Oh.
I'll show you. I'm a pretty girl that can hack. Is so.
Look, he's being very.
You trip and your face hits a blender.
He's being very rude right now. Yeah.
She's so distracted. Goes
Yeah,
to flip
that's
her
fine.
hair, accidentally hits Alt F4.
Roll your positive dice,
I
please.
am.
Roll. Okay, a triumph and a despair.
Okay, so that ends up being
Failure.
one advantage, 2 failures.
A triumph and a despair.
Jesus Christ, best of both worlds, I guess.
Although, no, you should be rolling a red in the first place. How'd you get
Wait,
a
what?
red?
Oh, I didn't mean to roll a red. How did I get a red? Wait, how did I get a red? I didn't even click on a red.
Rebuild your roll, because that's all sorts of fucked.
No, I'm wondering how the fuck that happened, because I did not click on a red. Okay, how about I just reroll? How about?
Yeah, I'll let you just re-roll, because that's all sorts of fucked.
And I didn't have any negatives, and it still gave me a purple. Okay. Wait,
Okay, alright.
I do not have a red. I can screenshot my fucking image right now.
Can confirm she does not have a red.
Maybe reload the site. I don't know what's up with that.
Wait,
and
is
I
it
don't have
because
anything.
I clicked upgrade? Yeah, if I guess it's because I hit 1 on upgrade instead of downgrade.
You put it on the wrong side.
If you upgrade the bad side, it will bump a purple to a red.
Okay, I understand now. Okay.
So, but I need to make this correct.
Okay.
I just need you to roll a single purple die, because it's 3 purple. Okay. So a single purple die that will replace.
Okay, I understand. What? Oh.
Well, that's too. Still, it works. It works. I know what the math is here.
Okay.
That gets you 2 successes and a triumph. And
that's it.
2 threat.
Okay.
So struggles. We're struggling tonight. You start to kind of mess with the pad for a second and plug it up to your own data pad and start running a couple programs trying to get through. And it takes you a moment. You've hacked into a lot of data pads before. This one seems to be a little bit more secure than you thought it was going to be, but it's not overly surprising, as it is probably either military issued or held to a little bit of higher security, as it is being utilized by a soldier. But you get through and into the base of this data pad and what it has access to, and you can see there's some search history on it. There looks to be kind of notes of some sort, either you're without looking through the notes specifically, you're not exactly sure what, but it seems to be notes that have been taken fairly regularly. You see some email. The email is password protected, so you'd have to try and hack into that again if you want to try and get into that. And you see, of course, camera roll and a reading history.
Well, Todd's correct. Is this what passes for military-grade encryption these days? Anyway, here's what I got so far, and she shows the contents to you guys. Like, pulls it up on a screen.
Let's go snooping.
You want me to break into the email? Is that what I'm hearing?
Not quite yet. Let's take a look at the camera roll in the search history and the notes. Then we'll check the email.
Camera first, and she pulls up the camera list onto one of the screens.
The camera roll seems to be fairly innocuous from what you can tell. Looks like just standard young guy, young Zabrak, taking pictures of his day-to-day life, and see some when he's in uniform, some when he's not. A lot of them seem to be taken at meal times or in a gym.
He's a food poster.
He's a food poster.
No, I'm talking about like him taking a selfie with the squad at the table type, like, lunch pictures. That type of pictures. You see every now and then things that you assume to be taken on planet. Nothing that seems to suggest it's taken when actively in danger, or anything that is particularly worrisome or even secret. But, like, look at that big ass bantha over there type pictures. It seems to be the standard, what you would expect from a young man. Just his everyday data pad that he would use.
Oh, that's a bus. That is a pretty big bantha, though. Gotta admit.
Yeah, I don't know if I've
history.
ever seen one that big.
Pulls up the history next.
The search history?
Yeah.
Anybody that wants to can roll me either... either an underworld or outer rim knowledge check with 3 purple.
You have a rank in Outer Rim. Why do I have a rank? You know what?
Why did I place this here and not there? What was I
It's a struggle.
thinking?
It's a struggle. I got it. Alright. Failure.
That it? Nobody else?
Wait, how does 3 successes cancel out 2 threats?
No, it's 3. The triangles are the failures.
Oh, the triangles are the failures. Okay.
Triangles are failures, the little circle ones are the threats.
Gotcha.
Yes, Cody?
Ismay is like twirling her hair, thinking about this what is it? Dravak? No. Kavrak. Zabrak.
Zebra.
So, what exactly are we rolling this for?
To see if you can...
Underworld?
you're looking at search history, so it's seeing if you guys can pick up anything of particular interest in the search history. Because as you're kind of scrolling through it, in much the same fashion as the brochures and pamphlets that were on the table, it looks like vacation spots, like hotels that are places you'd go to blow your money, but also not like the super high-end ones. It's the things that would be affordable for like the weekend getaway. Casinos. On like with the sheer number, it looks like he is preparing to go gambling, is what you can easily tell. He's preparing to go gambling. There's a couple of times where he seems to circle back around to news and is seeming to read a lot of the articles that get posted about the Paramount and its whereabouts and what other people are saying about it. You see some articles he's reading about specifically Senate voting on matters of the military itself. Doesn't seem to be looking at any of the other decisions that are going on. You see a couple of just random stupid searches. You know, those fun ones that you do when you're a little inebriated and you're just like, I wonder why this dog is colored like this. Comes across. You do see a couple of deep dives, it looks like, on a handful of the doctors on the ship. Not just Xander. Xander is amongst them, but also Dr. Phobos and like 3 or 4 other doctors that you've seen the names of in passing and while you're walking around the ship. Like their histories and what they're doing and you know, where they're from and where they went to school and all that type of stuff. And you do see that there seems to be a lot of attention being paid to the only other like big search topic that you come across is ships. Very, very focused on ships that are ones that are designed for, like, you know, living on a little bit.
All right. What about the notes?
As you look towards the notes, it seems like you can tell by the dates on them that he circles back around and is taking notes about twice a week. And has been taking notes about twice a week for, looks like, over a year at this point. So you kind of skim through them. It, on, at least it's the first skim, looks like this, like, weird mashup of, like, weight numbers and reps and stuff like that, like tracking exercise, tracking location. You can see, like, notes about when the Paramount moved, when the Paramount landed in one place, you know, left that place. You see a little bits and pieces of, like, not diary entries, but it seems like, you know, so-and-so talked to me about this, and I think it's really interesting, or, you know, reminder to self to, like, look up this question that somebody asked me, or it seems to be a lot of just, like, anything that you might make a voice memo to yourself about. There's some information over the past month or so that are just put in there without any explanation that seem to look a little bit strange, and they don't quite make sense to you, like planets and dates. Most of them, the oldest one you see is from about 7 or 8 years ago, up until around 4 years ago, 5 years ago. But there is no further explanation than just the planets and the dates. And my screen just decided to crap out on me. Yay. Which means I'm gonna have to fully restart to get this thing going again.
Aw.
No, ha 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 ha. I fixed it. Cool. If you guys want to try and see if there's anything hidden in there, or try to take a swing at what some of the other information is random in there means, you guys can roll I say a streetwise could work. Streetwise at this is a little bit harder, so it's a 4 purple.
Fuck. Well, might as well. Zip. Nope.
If it's just been so bad that knowing things you should know tonight. I gotta ranks and stuff.
Single
it's because
success.
It's because we have a bad feeling about this. That's why.
Single success to the streetwise. These may. You've been on the shadier side of things for a while. Not all of the planets make sense to you. Some of them are like, I've never even fucking heard of that planet, let alone like why that planet and that date. But as you kind of like are reading on the screen, there's one that jumps out at you at first, and it grabs your attention as, I'm pretty sure that there was something. I'm pretty sure I was actually near that planet around that time frame. And you kind of pay a little bit more attention. And you realize that a couple of the ones that are the most recent ones are planets that you have not on those direct times for the most part, but within a good 2 weeks, either before or after the dates listed, have been planets that you've been sent to by Lissy.
Like in the past?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm familiar with them.
And you're there in roughly the same time frame. So and she only sends you to go gather information or look at shady things. You're like, there's some shakedown that was happening in that time frame usually.
Okay. It's all coming back to me. There was something shady happening during this time.
Go
Something
on.
shady.
My memory is a bit foggy, but yes. Something was afoot.
Hey, look at this. You can, if you want to try and remember a little bit more, you can build me just a straight intellect roll with
Okay.
2 purple.
Okay. So off. Eh,
Okay. So, you can't quite remember, for various reasons, exactly what all of them were, but you're like, I'm pretty sure this one, I was looking into like a smuggling ring on this planet, and this one that was like 6 months earlier, I think there's some sort of corrupt official. And so you start realizing that essentially Lissy was sending you to gather information, usually about the whereabouts of somebody or some group for each of these planets.
okay, but it wasn't this person in particular.
No, I mean, you've never heard of Genti before.
Right, okay. But he seems to be involved in some pretty suspicious activity. Because I myself am involved in some pretty suspicious activity.
That's my girl. Yeah. She holds out her hand for a high five.
High fives.
If he squints. Huh. Seems we got ourselves a smuggler here. Although, I gotta admit, I don't know if I've ever seen a smuggler who's so, jockish.
They come in all shapes and sizes.
Suppose they do. I wonder if this guy is hard enough to commit a murder just quite yet.
You could always just get somebody to do it. Perfect alibi for while he's away, you know?
True.
That's true. Speaking of him being away, let's get a crack at these emails.
You got it. Cricks her fingers, clickety clack.
Okay.
I roll to hack.
It'll be computers with 3 purple.
I'm gonna use another one of these. And then computer. Are you fucking kidding me? Perfectly balanced, as the whole thing should be.
You have an advantage, at least.
Oh wait, is Marcy giving me a blue again?
No, as in, like, your result was an advantage, at least.
True. So I get a blue from
Something.
Marcy. Can I roll 1 blue?
Sure, I'll let you roll 1 blue.
Fuck!
Congratulations.
You have
Oh
I
my god.
doubled my advantage.
So you start trying to get into the email, and it's fighting back. While you all data pads, especially like this make and model that you've like broken into before, like your programs and everything are pretty prepared, but sometimes somebody gets smart with their email, and it is a really complicated password that your programs are just not filing through, and it's got the fucking like double verification that you have to have a different thing for, and it's just annoying you.
Who the fuck uses 2FA? 2FA these days.
I guess he does have more than one brain cell.
No, I can get through this.
You could try to roll again, same one if you would like.
Yes.
However, you do know that if you fail the password one too many times, you will likely get perma-locked out.
It's fine, I got this.
Oh my god.
No light side points, huh?
My god.
It's fine, I got this. Use them all.
Piper wants this murder mystery to end.
There!
So as you feel everybody starting to doubt your slicer credentials, pretty girls are watching, and you cannot allow this to happen.
Oh my god, girls are watching.
Oh no.
Not on my watch.
Trying to help as much as I can.
Two-factor this.
You lean in a little bit more and are like, okay, fucking, this is an email. It should not be this fucking hard. It's like, I've cracked into emails with this exact same email service 1,000,000 times before. And, turns out, as your program keeps running and finally cracks it, the man just used essentially the auto-generate random letters and numbers bullshit password. Which, impressive that he remembered the random numbers and letters to get in and out of his email. But that's why it was so hard. Made no sense. And as you finally open the email, little smile of triumph as it comes up onto the screen for everybody to see. You all see that it is very carefully managed. There are hundreds of emails. However, they've all been carefully filed away into folders. There's none of them that are not read. There are none of them just sitting in the inbox other than things that have come in the past about 8 hours, it looks like, most of which seem to be like ads for things or like reminders about things from the ship, things that just from the titles as you're looking across don't seem to be super interesting. However, you do see about a dozen different folders on the side listing websites and games that he is subscribed to, and looks like shopping accounts. You see emails or folders that are listed with people's names specifically. 3 of which share the same last name, so you're assuming are family of some sort. Yeah, you only had 2 yellow there. Distracted me, Piper.
I'm sorry. My ADHD brain was doing stuff.
And a couple of different names that seem to have the same last name, so you're assuming are family of some sort. You see folders listed as from the Paramount, from the Republic military, and you see a handful of other just people's names, none of which you recognize.
All right, let's look at those sent emails.
The sent emails?
Yeah.
So you open the sent emails, and he seems to be in pretty constant communication with a couple of different people. One seems to be what you assume to be mother or father, or both. You see communications back and forth with somebody that looks like it is in the command chain for the military, not from the ship. You see he has sent a couple of emails recently to looks like questions with a specific resort hotel. You see a couple of emails back and forth with anything here that's interesting. Couple of emails that are to a email that you can't quite tell. It seems to be just kind of anonymous. It's a bunch of letters and numbers. It's a very generic, like, at Gmail type thing. And Kane, you do see one name that does actually spark a little bit of a memory for you. You're kind of sure that it is a contact of Hylomia's from that smuggler moon.
Really? So, because it's a contact, this is more than likely someone who Hylomia used as, like, a way to get information and not contact as a possible ally, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was hoping. That was what I was kind of afraid of for a second there.
Like a rat or a stitch or something.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I'll point that out, and well, I don't know if he would know probably about some of what Cain did before when he was a Jedi, and how he worked with Hylomia, basically doing informant work, at least to some degree. So he'll bump Iffy on the elbow and then like nod his head to that name he recognizes. What did you say the name, by the way?
No.
I
do not have it currently.
Okay,
It's in a different. It is in a different set of notes.
I just wanted to make sure that I was like,
two
wait.
stacks of notes, and I don't. The other one is tucked in a box. I know which box, but in a box.
I was just making sure that this was like, yeah, there's a name here, and it's like, oh shit, I should make note of the name. Wait, does this name matter? Or are you telling me that it's something I recognize and I should just pay attention to the fact that I recognized it? But no, okay.
It will matter at some point, but
not to
that
start.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Cain will elbow Iffy and point to, like, nod his head towards the name and be like, actually, I'll hesitate to say worked with or know them, but when I was still with Master Hylomia, I ran into them on occasion, so to speak.
So?
Definitely not a reputable person.
We'll skim those emails in particular now.
This all but confirms everything we've seen up to this point about, well, all of the just does hand over hand smuggling thing.
Yeah, you know, I gotta say, Cain, you've been really on the ball with the smuggling thing. You've been more on the ball than I have.
I
How
underestimated
much
you.
of that informant did you do?
It's just kind of taken aback by the compliments. Not sure where those came from, but he does not turn them down, and we'll just kind of be like, oh, well, I was mostly just shadowing Master Hylomia. She, of course, was doing the heavy lifting, but I think I picked up a thing or two.
You sure did. Look at all that. Let's see if they talked about anything interesting.
Click, click.
So you look through those emails in particular. It looks like they're very clearly purposely vague back and forth. In such a way that you're fairly confident there is some sort of communication happening that is either they have talked before and so they don't really need to say a lot to each other to get a point across, or there is some sort of coded language happening and you're not really sure which, if not both. And the most that you can glean easily from the emails with that snitch in particular is that there is a meeting of some sort that they are planning to have with each other next month.
Hey, Cain, you want to crash a party?
I want to crash the party.
Alone? Or with... It just does like a finger to everyone nearby.
Cain, if you went on your own, you'd get spotted as a cop in like 10 seconds flat.
You'd be surprised. I can keep myself pretty cool if I'm not the center of attention, which I tend not to be.
If he is in a good mood, so she's holding back. She's not laughing. She's smiling. She's not.
My Alexa's not.
Maybe if you shaved off your thick mustache, that might make a difference.
Thick mustache? just touches his lip.
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Don't worry, me and Diesmay, we know parties. We got you.
Who?
Let's take down this information here.
Copy, click, copy, sends to my pad.
If he opens up her data pad, adds to calendar. So, could you reach out to this person, Kane?
could I probably reach out to wait, did you ask Kane if he could reach out to this person?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know the guy. He's a rat, right?
well, I could try. He might remember me from my time when I was still with Master Halomia, but I'll.
I can set you up an anonymous email if that'll make you feel better.
Well, if I'm not forthright about it, then I lose a lot of the punch that I would have if I were to be more direct. So I suppose I can reach out to him. If I remember him right, he's still likely a bit on the cautious side.
We can keep that in our back pocket then, in case we need it. We might find some other stuff in this email, though. How's about these emails with this basket of numbers and letters at what is this, Galaxy Mail?
As you start kind of skimming through those, let me see if there's something useful here. Just about everybody in this group except for maybe Marcy, but Marcy's also been around Iffy for a while. Couple of the emails look like just kind of like standard exchanges between almost like two people that know each other but knew each other a long time ago and are like keeping checking in with each other. Now that kind of courteous email that you have with somebody you used to call a best friend in high school that you haven't seen for a long time. That type of vibe. However, there's no name said either direction in any of those emails. And you click through one or two of them, and then there's about the third or fourth one that you go to, there's an attachment that you open up. And all of you immediately recognize, to varying degrees, essentially a kind of shorthand code that is used for pricing, usually on the black market. There's nothing that actually lists what the pricing is, but it is a series of kind of like item 1 this price, item 2 this price.
Huh.
Well, we know what they're getting.
We still have
Sure.
that paper too.
Yeah, we can compare this against the paper, and then I think another good thing would be to run the dates. That the cameras are out and see if we can find any matchups.
You pull out the paper that you found near the body, and looks like there's a couple of things in the attachment that are not on the paper. There's prices that you're not quite sure what they go to, but about 4 or 5 things. It's like, okay, yeah, delivered this much, like, aqua lung this much, heart this much. So you are fairly certain that they more or less match up, and you just don't have a full list on actual paper.
This seems to be a very long thread.
Well, looks like our boy here was really up to the gills and gills, wasn't he? If he looks around at the various party members.
Kane his eyes are closed and he is just breathing through his nose.
Ismay's filing her nails.
Marcy will give you a smile.
Alex is clicking on her keyboard, pretending to be busy.
Anna shakes her head slowly.
All right. I'll workshop it. Either way, it does seem like we found a smuggler, if not our murderer.
I think you're right.
Can we get a read on where he was today? Maybe he left one of these trips. Did he leave before the murder?
And Kelly, he's been still not moved away from where he's standing behind Vialexa. Just kind of shakes his head a little bit. The rough time frame that we have for the death and the cameras being down, he left about 15 minutes after the start of that, so he was quick. Theoretically, could have been there, yes.
That's looking awfully convenient, ain't it, Kelly?
He just kind of... This very serious, very sour look is on his face at this point.
It's a good alibi. I couldn't have done it. I was on the ship to the planet.
Vialexa, can we confirm that?
That he was on transit? I would need access to the transit logs for that.
Kelly, don't you think we've got probable cause?
I love that like sultry, sweet talk.
And Kelly just kind of like... There's a slow nod. And he kind of stepped aside a little bit to like start talking into his comm of he has to get communications and permissions, but he's trying to work on it. But also not 100% willing to leave all of you in the room with the data pad either. The man knows he has like 1 or 2 jobs. He is going to do those 1 or 2 jobs, damn it.
I wonder if we could clone the datapad while he's preoccupied.
Probably not.
It would be funny.
That is what pictures are for.
Do not torture this poor soldier that is just trying his best.
He
Don't
really
do it.
is.
He insinuated I couldn't hack because I was pretty, so he's forever an enemy to all women.
True.
But is there anything else you would like to get from this data pad right now? Because I am reaching my cutoff time.
I think we're good on the datapad. Does anybody else have any questions?
Nope. No, I'm good.
Okay. So with that, we will wrap that up. And start with, I'm assuming, hunting down Ginty next time.
Mm-hmm.
And next time I will say with 100% certainty, even if it's not where I would ideally like to do it, because Amy has been patient and listened for 2 sessions, I will find a way to work her character in.
It's okay. Don't worry.
You just came in at the weird time. Like, this one is hard for me to figure out how to throw a character in.
Exactly. I mean, I told you I was taking a break on Wednesdays anyway, so I'm fine with waiting. I also haven't finished my character yet.
Ah, so that's why you're not anxious to do it.
What? No.
I see.
Listen, I took notes. Please give mercy.
Marcy's
I
right
want,
here.
I want that good bean medal back. I want it back.
What? I took notes.
But hopefully you guys feel like you're getting places. So you were
Only 3 sessions.
We made some progress here.
To be fair, half the reason you didn't get places in the first one is because you guys did not ask the questions that are essential to investigations.
Yeah, the first one was kind of a wash, it sounds like.
Look, we had some great conversations.
Yes, you did.
Informative? No. Great? Depends on who you ask.
Made some friends.
It was great, okay?
I've made it my mission